My girlfriend was way too close to the new intern. When I warned her to keep her distance, she snapped, calling me paranoid. The intern even dared to provoke me. After I put him in his place, she called me petty. I demanded she'll fire him, but right to my face. She promoted him to her personal secretary. She threatened to call off our engagement if I targeted him again. So I agreed and cancelled it on the spot. Then I cut off every business deal with her family. She didn't care, claiming that even though I helped them, they had the actual strength to win those contracts. Fine if that's how she wants it. Only when her family faced bankruptcy did she beg on her knees for my forgiveness. Too late. Cheap regrets mean nothing. Now, she and her intern can tear each other apart. Don't move. Your tie is crooked again. I was about to push open Lin Wei's office door when I heard her voice. I walked in to find her adjusting a young man's tie, completely oblivious to me. When he saw me, surprise flashed in his eyes, instantly turning into a smug smirk. He quickly hid it, putting on a panicked face. Sister Wei, really? I can do it myself. Don't move. Lin Wei patted his shoulder. You always forget. How can you be so careless when meeting clients? Wei, I called out coldly. She stiffened, spinning around with her hands still on his collar. A guilty blush crept up her cheeks, looking like a child caught red. Ah, Yan, why are you here so early? She lowered her hands and instinctively stepped back to distance herself from him. My eyes scanned the room. 2 coffee cups sat on the desk, one half empty, the other nearly finished. Documents lay scattered. They had been in here together for a while. Am I early? My voice was terrifyingly calm. Did I interrupt? Hello, Mr. Gio, I'm sorry. I'm just too clumsy and always trouble, Sister Wei. The kid bowed his head, sounding apologetic but throwing a provoking glance. Lin Wei rushed over to grab my arm. I subtly stepped back. Chunzi just got back from a client. He didn't even notice his crooked tie. You always said details matter, she explained with a smile. I nodded, glancing at his tie. Deep blue, premium silk. Definitely not something a normal intern could afford. Chunzi, you can head out first, Lin Wei said. Wei, you are getting way too close to him. Once we were alone, I looked straight into her eyes. Lin Wei blinked rapidly, looking defensive. Ah, Yan, you are being way too sensitive. I was just helping an employee adjust his clothes. It is completely normal. She picked up her coffee but did not drink. He reminds me of my clumsy self when I first started. I am just mentoring him. Does mentoring require getting this close and spending the entire afternoon alone together? I asked, suppressing my anger. Her expression shifted, then hardened. Are you spying on me, tracking my moves? I do not need to, I said coldly. The whole company sees it. Everyone watched you lock yourself in here with him since lunch. I leaned closer. Wei, you are his boss, but you are also mine. Do you think this behavior is appropriate? Her face went pale. Juyan, what are you trying to say? Do you not trust me? She shouted. Chunzi is just a kid fresh out of college. He is completely innocent. Why is your mind so dirty? Innocent? The way he looks at you is not how a subordinate looks at his boss. You, Lin Wei, stood up. This is ridiculous. I never knew you were so petty. If you do not trust me, just say so. Her chest heaved, visibly furious. Chunzi is young. What is wrong with helping him out? Why are you so small-minded, helping him? I stared at her. Are you sure that is all you are doing? She slammed the desk. Juyan, do not cross the line. I stood up, completely cold. I am just warning you not to lie to yourself. I know what I am doing, she hissed, pointing toward the door. I do not need your life lessons. Mind your own business. I stared at her, then nodded. Fine. As I walked out, she slammed a folder onto her desk. Ungrateful, I muttered, walking out with a heavy chest. Lin Wei's reaction was far worse than I expected. She actually lost her temper with me over an intern. A few steps down the hall, I ran right into that very same clumsy intern. Chunji, he was holding a stack of files. The moment he saw me, he put on a respectful, timid smile. Hello, Mr. G. I stopped studying his face. Young, fair-skinned, with shifty eyes and a perfectly practiced look of newcomer panic and flattery. Quite an act. I smirked coldly. Chunzi, right? He nodded, lowering his voice. Yes, Mr. G. I stood silent, staring him down. His fake smile slowly froze, and beads of sweat began to form on his forehead. After a tense silence, he finally cracked, whispering nervously. Mr. Ju, did you need something? I leaned in, keeping my voice dangerously low. Stay away from Lin Wei. His eyes widened, his face turning pale. I stood straight, or faced the consequences. I turned to walk away. Behind me I heard his shallow breathing and a trembling, faint Mr. G. I did not look back, idiot. I pulled out my phone to tell my assistant to cancel tonight's dinner. When hurried footsteps rushed up behind me. Mr. Ju, please wait. I turned, surprised to see Chunzi jogging after me with a fake panicked look. He stopped a couple of steps away, panting, his eyes shifting. Mr. Ju, I want to explain. I stared at him coldly, remaining silent. He swallowed, putting on a victim act. You seemed upset earlier. Did I do something wrong to cause a misunderstanding? I narrowed my eyes, already starting. Seeing my silence, he grew bolder. President Lin treats me really well, like a sister, but I have no inappropriate intentions. Please do not misunderstand. She actually mentions you often, saying you are too busy for her. I just run errands and keep her company. I stared at him, then suddenly laughed. Chunzi froze. Mr. Ju cut the act. You think I can't see through your filthy motives? I stepped closer, looking down at him. Your pathetic acting might fool Lin Wei, but not me. His face froze, but he quickly wore that pitiful look. Mr. Ju, how can you say that? I only respect Sister Wei. He raised his voice, clearly trying to be heard. You must have misunderstood. She said you weren't like this. I leaned in. I keep my word. If I catch you provoking us again, you will pay dearly. His face went pale. I sneered, gently adjusting his crooked tie, and whispered coldly, stay away from her. This is your final warning. I let go of him and turned to leave. Just then, Ji Yan, what are you doing? Lin Wei's voice roared. She rushed over, pulling Chunzi behind her. She glared at me. Are you targeting him again? I looked at her protective stance, then at the coward behind her, who kept his head down but wore a smug smirk. It was utterly ridiculous. I fell right into this manipulator's trap. Lin Wei, I said calmly, are you really going to pick a fight with me over him? She gasped, her voice shrill. What right do you have to threaten him? What did he do wrong? I remained silent, staring coldly. Stung by my silence, she shrieked. He works diligently and never complains. Why are you treating him like this? I smirked. Diligently, never complains. My eyes passed her to lock onto Chunzi. Why don't you ask him what he just told me? Don't be afraid. Tell the truth. Lin Wei cooed, patting his arm with unbelievable tenderness. What happened? Chunzi looked up, his eyes red and voice trembling. President Lin, I was just explaining that you treat me well, because I remind you of your past self. I meant nothing by it, but Mr. Ju misunderstood. He warned me to stay away, saying someone like me does not deserve to be near you. He whimpered. Lin Wei whipped around, her eyes blazing with fury. How could you say that? Who do you think you are? He was only looking out for us. And you enough, I interrupted. Voicey, employees were already whispering in the hallway. Lin Wei, I am giving you one last chance. Fire him, and I will let this go. I checked my watch, done with the drama, and turned to walk away. Ji Yan, she shrieked. I turned back, she stared at me, cold and deliberate. I will never fire him, since you hate Chunzi so much. She grabbed his wrist, raising her voice for everyone to hear. From today on, Chunzi is my personal secretary. No one touches him. The hallway went dead silent. Chunzi gasped, looking utterly thrilled. President Lin Wei sneered, locking her eyes onto mine. Ju Yan, I am warning you. Stop giving Secretary Chun a hard time. She paused, raising her voice further. Otherwise, our engagement is off. The air froze. Every single eye in the hallway landed on me. I looked at her and laughed. Fine, I said calmly. It is cancelled. Her face instantly went blank. Without a second glance, I turned and walked away. Behind me I heard Chunji's fake gasp. President Lin, are you okay? And Lin Wei's trembling scream. Ji Yan, fine, have it your way. Stepping out of the building, the cold wind hit my collar. I dialed my assistant, Joe Lin. He picked up immediately. I need 3 things done right now, I said. First, cancel the engagement party in 3 days. Notify the guests. Cite mutual agreement as the reason. Joe Lin gasped on the other end, but his professionalism quickly took over. Understood, handling it. Now, second, suspend all cooperation between our group and the Lin Group. This includes the 3 ongoing real estate developments in the tech park. Investment. Joe Lin panicked. But sir, the tech park has already received massive funding. Withdraw it all. I interrupted. Pay the penalty. Third, I opened the car door and sat in the back. Freeze all resource support to them. That includes bank guarantees, supply chains, and network introductions. Joe Lin did not hesitate. Should I send formal letters to our partners? Do it. I looked out at the distant Lin Group tower. Execute the maximum breach of contract procedures. Understood. Also, have someone dig into Chunji. Let's see what his deal is. Hanging up, I pulled up the Lin Group's last financial report on my phone. Their asset to liability ratio was 62%. Cash flow was barely holding, and their 3 main projects completely relied on my group's backing. I forwarded the report to the risk control director with a simple note. Terminate all credit immediately. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Joe Lin. Sir, the party is cancelled. The hotel is asking about the reserve jewelry and suits. I texted back, return everything. I paused, then added, put Lin Wei and her parents on our corporate blacklist. Joe Lin replied, understood. As my car pulled into the underground garage that evening, I reviewed the file on Chunji. He had joined the Lin Group 3 months ago. His performance was garbage, and he barely survived his first month of probation. Who knew that by his 2nd month, Lin Wei would handpick him for a permanent role? Just then, my phone buzzed frantically. Lin Wei's name flashed on the screen. I let it ring out. 30 seconds later it rang again. This time I picked up. I stayed silent on purpose. Her voice was sharp with blame. Have you lost your mind? Why did you come to my office and say you're calling off the engagement? Isn't that exactly what you wanted? I interrupted. She sighed. Ayan, I love you. Chunji is just like a little brother to me. Well, I took it seriously. I replied coldly. I heard her sharp intake of breath. Then, trying to sound calm, she snapped. Just because I promoted him. You're throwing a massive tantrum. Aren't you overreacting? Looking out the car window, I spoke slowly. Linwei, you think this is just jealousy? She gasped. I continued coldly. Since Chunzi started 3 months ago, you've had lunch with him 3 times a week, worked late together twice, and given him private weekend tutoring. Last Wednesday, you cancelled our date to meet a client. Instead, you took him to that new Michelin restaurant. You spied on me. Her voice shook. I didn't have to. I scoffed. The head chef is a friend of mine. He saw you with a younger guy, sitting in the couple's booth. He took a photo and sent it to me, asking if he was your brother. That photo was why I initially confronted her, hoping she'd set boundaries. I never expected her to get so defensive. That's when I hired an investigator, only to realize how pampered this intern has been. Silence stretched over the line. Then, her voice turned sharp. So, what's your point? Are you threatening me? Or do you think my company can't survive without you? Her breathing grew heavy. Threaten you? I laughed. Why would I need to threaten you? Over the last 5 years, Jew Group gave your family 15% off order pricing. Waived bank guarantee fees, and enough. She shrieked. So you think the Lin family lives on your charity? I loosened my tie. I'm just reminding you that some platforms aren't built on hard work alone. Ju Yan, I admit you helped us in the beginning, she said. But honestly, we won those deals because of our own strength. Even without your help, we would have succeeded. So stop acting so high and mighty in front of me. We made each other. I scoffed. So that was her logic. It's funny how giving someone too much help just breeds resentment, she continued. Stop micromanaging my life. Chunzi is just a brother to me. If you can just give me some space, I'll let this slide. Why don't you focus on prepping for our engagement banquet in 3 days? Keep dreaming, I said. What did you say? She yelled. A loud crash echoed through the receiver as she threw something, followed by Chunji's fake, soothing voice. President Lin, please calm down. I'm sure President Yu didn't mean. I hung up. A moment later, my assistant Zhou Ling messaged. Risk management reports Lin's main creditor bank has received our termination of guarantee. I texted back. Perfect. 30 minutes later, another message popped up. It was a long text from Linwei Ju Yan. Let me explain. Chunji and I are nothing. He's just a fresh graduate. I admit I've been overly protective, but only because he reminds me of my younger self. You're the one I love. We've been together 7 years since college. Are you really throwing this all away over a minor issue? Fine. I'll distance myself from Chunzi and reassign him. Satisfied. I finished reading, opened my settings, and blocked her number. Too late for apologies now. On the morning of the engagement, Linwei soaked in the tub for an hour. The scent of rose oil filled the bathroom as steam flushed her pale skin. Her phone screen lit up with a text from Chunji, Sister Wei. Today, you will surely be the most beautiful bride. Do you need me to help at the venue early? Her lips curved. Ju Yan hadn't reached out since their fight 3 days ago. But she wasn't worried. As Chunji said, the Jiu Group heirs' invitations were already sent. The media had all received the press releases. No matter how angry Ju Yan was, he wouldn't jeopardize his family's reputation. No need. Especially since Ju Yan is sensitive about you. She texted back. Rest up, you'll be busy starting tomorrow. Her mother knocked and entered, carrying a pressed custom gown. Has Ju Yan still not returned your calls? Her mother frowned, deeply worried. It's been 3 days. This is ridiculous. He's just busy, Linwei said, stepping out of the tub. Don't worry, Mom, he'll be there. Her mother sighed, looking at her with a mix of concern and hesitation. What about that intern? Chunji is my secretary. He's incredibly capable, Linwei interrupted, her voice resolute. Ju Yan needs to learn to respect my choices. Soon the makeup artist arrived on schedule, spending a full hour perfecting her look. Miss Lin, you look absolutely gorgeous, the makeup artist said, adjusting her veil. President Ji won't be able to look away. Linwei offered a tight smile. Ju Yan did prefer her like this, elegant and flawless, not like Chunzi, who always praised her natural beauty and her passion during work hours. Startled by her own stray thoughts, she quickly shook her head. At 11 a.m., the Lin family limousine pulled up to the hotel. The doorman politely opened the door. Holding her heavy gown, Linwei stepped out, only to freeze as she scanned the entrance. There was no sign greeting her guests. Strange, she murmured. Did they forget our welcome board? But when she walked into the grand lobby, the color drained from her face. Standing there was a massive wedding sign. Congratulations to Mr. Wang Juan and Miss Li Wen. This is impossible, she whispered, clenching her fists. The manager hurried over with a polite, professional smile. Miss Lin, what brings you here? Where is my engagement banquet? Her voice trembled. The Emerald Hall reserved by the Gi Group. The manager blinked in surprise. You didn't know? Mr. Ju cancelled the reservation 3 days ago. This hall was actually booked by Mr. Wong 6 months ago. He wanted a larger room. So when the GU Group cancelled, he upgraded to this space. Lin Wei felt her head start to spin. A loud buzzing filled her ears, drowning out his voice. Mechanically, she turned to look toward the Emerald Hall. The grand doors were wide open, revealing unfamiliar wedding decorations. Under the dazzling lights, the entire venue shimmered beautifully. A massive portrait of the newlyweds hung right in the center as guests toasted and laughed. He really cancelled it, she whispered in disbelief. He really left me, why? Just then, a waiter pushed a cart past her, carrying a 5-tier wedding cake topped with a miniature bride and groom in a suit and gown, locked in a sweet embrace. That should have been her and Gigi. Suddenly her phone buzzed with a text from her mother. Wei, what's happening? Director Zhong says the GU Group sent an official letter terminating all partnerships. Your father's blood pressure is spiking. Another message flashed. Call Juyan right now and find out what is going on. With trembling fingers, she dialed the number she knew by heart. The line is currently busy, she tried again, but the automated voice remained cold. She sent a WeChat message, only for it to instantly bounce back with a red exclamation mark. Lin Wei gasped for air, a cold wave of realization hitting her. Juyan was serious. He was actually leaving her. Behind her, whispers started drifting over. Isn't that the Lin family's daughter? Her engagement was supposed to be today. Did he dump her? Oh my God, she got dumped. The stairs pierced her back like knives. Panicking, Lin Wei turned to run but tripped on the concierge desk, crashing hard onto the marble floor. A sharp pain shot through her knees, but ignoring it, she scrambled to her feet and stumbled away toward the elevator. Miss Lin, are you all right? A worried staff member called out. The moment the elevator door slid shut, she collapsed onto the floor. Her expensive gown pulled around her like a withered flower. Suddenly her phone buzzed again with a message from Chunzi. President Lin, HR just informed me that headquarters rejected my promotion. She stared at the text and let out a dry laugh that quickly dissolved into tears. How incredibly pathetic. For a mere intern she had thrown away Zhu Yang, and now she had absolutely nothing left. When Lin Wei staggered into the Lin Group headquarters, a suffocating silence hung over the building. The receptionist jumped up in a panic. President Lin, the chairman wants you in the boardroom immediately. The moment the elevator doors parted, a furious roar hit her. What do you mean the banks are pulling our loans? Our financials last month looked perfect. Her father, Lin Zhenyi, roared, slamming the table. The CFO stood trembling before him. Chairman Zhu Group formally withdrew all guarantees this morning. The bank's risk department. Enough. Lin Zhenyi looked up and spotted Lin Wei, his eyes instantly turning bloodshot. Get in here. The boardroom door slammed shut. Her mother, Zhou Yun, slumped in her chair, pale as a ghost. Wei, what did you do? Why did Zhu Yan call off the wedding? And all for some intern? Lin Zhenyi threw a tablet onto the table. On the screen was the internal announcement promoting Chunji to personal secretary. For this, you ruined our relationship with the Jia family. Lin Wei opened her mouth, but her throat felt completely dry. Dada, shut up. Lin Zhenyi kicked a chair over in rage. The harbor project is frozen. The tech park investors pulled out. The bank is demanding 300 million back immediately. Do you know how long our cash flow will last? He held up 2 fingers. 2 months. Her mother lunged forward, grabbing her hands. Wei, you must find Zhu Yan and apologize. Go right now. It's no use, Lin Wei muttered, shaking her head. He blocked my number. Then go corner him at his office. Lin Zhenyi roared. Kneel if you have to. Beg him to take you back. 3 generations of our family business cannot end with you. Stumbling out of the boardroom in a daze, she felt every eye in the office locked onto her. Managers who used to flatter her now looked away, pretending to be busy. Quiet gossiping leaked from the break room. I heard she kept an intern. So young Master Gu dumped her today. We're finished. Pushing open her office door, she found Chunji standing nervously by her desk. President Lin, HR just told me they're reviewing my promotion. Get out. Chunji stared at her. What? I said get out. Lin Wei snatched a heavy folder and hurled it at him. Right now. Finally alone in her office, she collapsed into a chair, her eyes drifting over to her computer screen. Her inbox was flooded with urgent unread emails, contract terminations, payment demands, and asset seizure warnings. Right at the top, received 10 minutes ago, was a notice from their creditor bank stating they were initiating immediate loan recall, procedures due to severe credit risks. With shaking hands, she dialed a number she hadn't called in 3 years. Zhou Ling, chief assistant at GU Group. Can you put me through to Zhu Yan? She croaked. I'm sorry, President Lin, Zhou Ling replied in a formal, pitying tone. President Zhu gave clear instructions that anything regarding the Lin family must go strictly through standard legal channels. As the line went dead, Lin Wei buried her face in her hands and sobbed. Outside, dusk settled over the city. casting cold shadows across the panic-stricken faces of the Lin group. After pulling a desperate all-nighter, she had only dozed off for a few minutes at dawn. Dozens of empty coffee cups littered her desk. As the morning shift began, she woke up numbly scrolling through the latest financial sheet. The accounts receivable column was entirely blank. The flashing red figures on the accounts payable were horrifying. Not. A sudden, violent pounding on the door made her shudder. The door burst open, and Lu Jian, the marketing director, rushed in. This 15-year veteran of the Lin family had completely bloodshot eyes. President Lin, we just got news. Hongda Group has cancelled all orders. They make up 40% of our revenue. Lin Wei's vision went dark. Hongda's chairman was Ju Yan's golf buddy. Just then, the HR director burst in, panicking. The entire tech department has resigned. They said they already got job offers from Goose Tech. Then, the cold voice of the bank's credit director echoed in her mind. President Lin, if the first loan installment is not paid by 9 a.m. tomorrow, we will freeze all your company's accounts. Lin Wei clenched her fists tightly. The pain barely kept her focused. Director Zhong, for the sake of our years of cooperation. Apologies, but this is a decision from headquarters. The line went dead. She looked through the glass window. The office was in utter chaos. People were packing boxes, others were crowding around the printers. They were frantically copying documents. In the conference room, middle managers argued heatedly. This was the empire the Lin family had built over 3 generations, now crumbling in an instant. Her phone vibrated with a video from her mother. In it, her father slumped on the study floor, surrounded by pills and wine bottles. Her mother screamed hysterically into the camera. Are you happy now? Now the entire industry knows my daughter ruined us for a toy boy. The video cut off. Lin Wei stumbled to her feet as her stomach churned. She rushed to the restroom, vomiting violently. When she looked up, she was shocked by the mirror. The reflection startled her. Swollen eyes, messy hair, and vomit on her chin. Was this really the woman once hailed by financial magazines as a prodigy in the business world? Suddenly the door swung open. 2 female employees froze in shock when they saw her, awkwardly nodding as they prepared to back out. Wait, Lin Wei called out, her voice raspy. What is everyone saying? The 2 exchanged a look. The younger one gathered her courage. President Lin, rumors say young Master Jiu has made it clear. Anyone who helps the Lin family is making an enemy out of him. The older employee quickly added, Old Chun from procurement begged our supplier this morning. They flat out told him we offended someone we shouldn't have. Lin Wei waved them away. She turned on the tap, splashing her face with freezing water. The icy flow brought back a memory from 3 years ago. Guyan had taken her to a high-profile corporate gala. The chairman, normally incredibly arrogant, personally welcomed them at the door. Shaking Ju Yan's hand, he said, Young Master Ju, thank you for gracing us. She had felt so proud back then. Only now did she realize it wasn't her company's strength that earned that respect. They were just bowing to the platform behind her. Laughably, she had mistaken the platform's power for her own hard work, and had even criticized Ju Yan for it. Returning to her office, she found Chunji waiting by the door, his face bruised. President Lin, he whimpered, security won't let me in. They say I'm fired, and my apartment is subsidized by the company. What do I do now? Lin Wei stared at the young face that used to soften her heart. Now, he felt like a total stranger. Do you know why Ju Yan is targeting you? She asked quietly. Chunji's eyes flickered nervously. Because you value me too much. No, Lin Wei laughed, looking more miserable than if she were crying. Because you were stupid enough to think you could play games right under his nose. She slammed the door in his face. Stepping out of the elevator downstairs, she found the entire floor deathly quiet. The desks were mostly empty. The remaining staff typed mechanically like zombies. As she passed, everyone looked down to avoid her gaze, as if she carried a plague. Seeking a breath of fresh air, she pushed open the stairwell door, only to hear a familiar voice echoing from the landing below. The Lin family's completely finished this time, Chunji said, his voice lighter than ever. Who would dare work with them now? Lin Wei's blood ran cold. You sure jumped ship fast. Another man laughed. I heard HR paid you an extra 3 months of severance. That pocket change is nothing. Chunzi sneered. I have serious dirt. I knelt before young Master Ju and told him President Lin cared about me far more than him. That brainless woman actually ruined her engagement for me. Lin Wei's fingers dug hard into the metal edge of the fire door. What is hilarious is the day the engagement fell through, Chunzi bragged. She rushed to the hotel in her wedding gown, only to find another couple getting married. I heard she completely lost her mind. Rich family. I ruined them. You are brutal, man. But it is a pity. Yeah, your sugar mummy is gone. I wanted her to fall for me so I could have endless cash. Or even be her lover on the side. Rich people marry for show anyway, Chunzi grumbled. They are rotten to the core, his friend agreed. But their money binds them together anyway. His friend replied. That is why I provoked Ju Yan to drive a wedge between them. Even if their business marriage went through, I could still play the secret lover. Who knew the Lin family's business was actually this fragile? Well, you killed your own cash cow. It makes me mad. She was just too stupid. Chun-Ji's voice turned venomous. Did she really think I was just a harmless intern she could control, if it was not for her company's wealth? The fire door was kicked open, a deafening bang echoing through the stairwell. Chun-Ji looked up, his face turning pale. President Lin Wei stood on the steps, trembling. She finally saw his face clearly. Gone was the clumsy, innocent boy. He was smug, proud of his successful scheme. "You used me," she whispered, her voice barely a breath. Her voice was so raspy it did not sound like her own. Chun-Ji backed away in panic. "No, let me explain. I was just bragging. You did it to anger Ji Yuyan on purpose, President Lin." Chun-Ji fell to his knees. "I was wrong. I was possessed. I only did it because I care about you. Please, don't." Lin Wei grabbed a fire extinguisher and hurled it at him. Chun-Ji fled, shielding his head. The heavy canister slammed into the wall with a deafening crash. "I will kill you," she screamed, racing down the stairs, ignoring the sharp pain of a sprained ankle. "You ruined the Lin family. You ruined me." Chun-Ji scrambled out of the exits, screaming, "Help! President Lin has lost her mind. She is trying to kill me." Shocked security guards held her back, trying to calm her down. Chun-Ji took the opportunity to slip away in the chaos. Lin Wei completely broke down. She slumped on the dusty floor, her expensive suit filthy. Her styled hair stuck to her tear-streaked face. "I need to see Gyu Yan right now." No one dared to touch her. Finally, her mother, Jo Yoon, rushed over to intervene. Jo Yoon dragged her into the car, grabbing her shoulders. Her mother snapped, "Look at you. What do you look like? Making a scene in public over a lowlife." On the way to the GU Corporation building, Lin Wei finally calmed down. She used the compact mirror to fix her messy hair. She wiped away her smudged eyeliner and reapplied her lipstick. "Mom, don't worry," she said, her voice terrifyingly calm. "Ju Yan still cares about me. He is just angry." Jo Yoon did not answer, clearly having no hope. As the car stopped in front of the GU Corporation building, Lin Wei grabbed her mother's arm. "Where is my phone? Give it to me." She found her favorite photo. Last Christmas, Ju Yan holding her from behind, smiling by the tree. She set it as her lock screen, checked her makeup 3 more times, and whispered, "He will definitely see me. He has to. 7 years of history, he cannot just throw it away." Right then, the glass doors opened. Ju Yan walked out, wearing his favorite dark gray coat, adjusting his cuffs. The sunlight gilded his silhouette, making his perfect features look heartbreakingly handsome. Lin Wei pushed open the car door and rushed out. Ayan, hearing her voice, Ju Yan, who had just gotten into his car, turned around. His cold eyes landed on Lin Wei as she rushed forward and grabbed his arm. "Ayan, let me explain. It was all that bastard Chun-Ji. He set me up. He admitted he provoked us on purpose. Miss Lin." "So what?" he replied coldly. That formal title struck Lin Wei like a bolt of lightning. She stared blankly. "Did I not tell you long ago that he was acting?" he asked. "But what did you do?" She froze, speechless. "Between us, the moment you chose to believe him, protect him, and threatened to cancel our engagement, it was completely over," he said. She shook her head frantically, tears blinding her. "I really love you. These 7 years. I really love you. Drive to the airport," he commanded. Lin Wei clung to the window. "Where are you going?" "I will go with you. Let us start over. I do not want anything else. Miss Lin has some." The car started moving, forcing her to let go. She fell onto the cold ground. "Gu Yan!" she screamed in agony. "Please." The black Maybach sped away, splashing muddy water all over her dress. Jo Yoon walked over, her voice sounding incredibly exhausted. "Let us go home. Your father mortgaged the family home." Lin Wei stared blankly where the car vanished, then suddenly laughed. She once thought she was special, that 7 years of love was unbreakable. Now she knew that in Ju Yan's world, a betrayer never gets a second chance. Soon the Lin Group's bankruptcy liquidation notice hit the papers. On the day the bankruptcy notice hit the front page of the Financial Daily, Lin Wei went alone to their favorite French restaurant. The waiter recognized her looking awkward. "Miss Lin, your table is by the window." He pointed to the spot where Jiu Yan first confessed to her. The dining room was warm, but she could not stop shivering. When the waiter brought the wine, she asked quietly, "Has Mr. Ju been here lately?" "Yes. Over the weekend." The waiter hesitated. "He was with the heiress of Luoshi Pharmaceutical." She froze, letting out a bitter laugh. Leaving the restaurant, her phone buzzed with a breaking headline. GU Group strategically invests in Luoshi Pharmaceutical to build a multi-billion-dollar medical ecosystem. The photo showed Ju Yan raising a glass with the heiress, both smiling warmly. Standing in the freezing December wind, she finally knew it was over. 3 months later, in a slum on the west side, Lin Wei stood in a public washroom, washing an apron in a faded-down jacket. Behind her, a familiar shouting match erupted. "Old bastard, follow me again, and I will call the police." Chun-Ji, in a delivery uniform, screamed. Lin Jenny hobbled after him on a sprained ankle. "You beast!" her father roared, raising his cane. You ruined my family. The cane struck Chunji's back with a dull thud. Neighbors walked right past, completely unfazed. This was already the third time this week. Lin Wei numbly wrung out the apron. Since they moved here, her father's only job was hunting down Chunji. Chunji had already been blacklisted from the corporate world. Even if a clueless company wanted to hire him, they would eventually run a background check. There, they would find the highly negative feedback left by the Lin Group. Out of desperation, he took low-paying jobs at small companies and other industries. But whenever he started working, her father would find out, rushing to the office to scream and make a scene. He would publicly expose Chunji's terrible character, harassing the employers until they fired him. This happened repeatedly. In fact, her father had even broken his leg during one of these confrontations. Unemployable, Chunji had no choice but to work as a food delivery driver. Yet, her father still staked out delivery spots just to beat him up and vent his anger. The once proud chairman Lin was now completely mad. Wei, her mother shrieked from the hallway. Go deal with your father. The landlord is complaining about the noise again. Lin Wei ignored her. Carrying her plastic basin, she walked upstairs, passing meters plastered with final warning notices and hallways piled with trash. Inside the tiny room, the television blared. Ju Group officially acquired the old Lin Group headquarters today, plans to convert it into the smart R&D center. He shut the door, cutting off the news and his father's curses. Downstairs at GU headquarters, Zhou Lin set down his tablet. Mr. Ju, the Lin family assets auction is over. We got them at 35% of the appraisal. Without looking up, I kept signing. Proceed with the redevelopment plan, I said. Zhou Lin hesitated. Lin Jenny went gambling again this morning, and Chunzi was kicked out of an estate while delivering food. My pen paused on the paper. Keep tracking them. Keep feeding the Lin family updates on Chunji's jobs. I closed the file. Let them tear each other apart. It's more entertaining this way. I stood up and walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. From this height, I could overlook the entire city. The office tower that once belonged to the Lins now glowed with the GU logo. Zhou Lin quietly slipped out. It started raining. As I pulled my car into the garage, I suddenly saw Lin Wei kneeling at the entrance, soaking wet. Her long hair clung to her face, her lips blue from the cold. Spotting my headlights, she scrambled up, stumbled forward, and threw herself against my car, pounding on the window. Ah, Yan, I was wrong. Please, just give me one more chance. I frowned and gestured for the driver to keep going. Ah, Yan, don't leave, she screamed, stumbling as the car moved forward, her voice hoarse. Just let me speak. The tires splashed through puddles, drenching her in dirty water. But she chased us anyway, finally blocking me at the elevator. She blocked me just as I was about to go up. Get out, I said, my eyes cold. With a thud, she rushed into the elevator and knelt on the freezing floor. I was wrong. I really was. As the doors began to slide shut, I pressed the close button, not out of mercy, but to avoid a scene. Lin Wei looked up, rainwater and tears streaming down her face. It's my fault. I was too stupid to tell real love from fake. I thought Chunzi needed protection, but he was just using my sympathy. She suddenly grabbed my pant leg. But none of that is an excuse. The real reason is, I was scared. I looked down at her coldly. You're too perfect, she sobbed. So perfect that I felt unworthy. That's why I tolerated Chunji. I wanted to prove you'd get jealous for me, that you'd lose control for me. She choked up. I'm just a complete idiot. But my love for you was real. The elevator lobby was dead silent, save for her muffled sobs. Are you done? I asked, pressing the button for my floor. Panicking, Lin Wei scrambled forward and clung to my legs. For 7 years, you gave me that star necklace. When you had that fever, I stayed by your side for 3 days. When the board targeted you, I stayed up all night organizing files for you. All of that was real. My love for you never changed. The doors opened. I pried her fingers off mine. Lin Wei. I paused. Your biggest mistake was treating my love as a bargaining chip. She collapsed onto the floor. The day you chose to protect him and threaten me, the Julian who loved you died. I walked out. Forgive me, Julian. Give me one more chance, she cried, chasing after me. I'll help you take the company. I don't want anything else. Just let me stay by your side. I'll even be your maid. I can acquire the company myself. But a maid like you. I opened the door, looked at her, and said, I don't want you. Then I shut the door. Lin Wei wept, kneeling outside and pounding on it. I'm sorry. I really know I was wrong. I love you. Forgive me. She knelt there all night. But I never looked back. Too little, too late. Your affection now is worth less than dirt. 1 year later, in late autumn, I stood on the top floor of our newly completed R&D center, looking down at the city lights. This glass tower, rebuilt from the old Lin headquarters, was now a major tech landmark. Zhou Lin knocked and entered, handing over a folder. Mr. Ju, here is the final agenda for next week's summit. I flipped it open. My eyes lingered briefly on the name of our special guest, Rosie Lu, Vice President of Luau Medical, before calmly turning the page. Is there anything else? I asked. Joe Lin hesitated. Miss Lin is working as a counter girl at the mall across the street. One happened to spot her during my rounds today, he added softly. At the cosmetics counter. Understood, I replied. Meanwhile, in the mall's beauty section, Lin Wei was applying makeup for a customer. This lipstick is new. It really suits you. She smiled as she expertly opened a tester. The customer suddenly stared at her. Aren't you that girl from the Lin family? You have the wrong person, she replied quickly, looking down to tidy up the testers. Should I wrap this up for you? Once the customer left, she pulled out her phone. The lock screen was just a generic landscape photo she had found online. His picture was long gone from her album. Lin, go grab 10 tubes of shade 36 from the store. The manager called out. She answered and turned, catching her reflection in the mirror. Neat uniform and a tight ponytail. Once even her lipsticks had to be flown in from Paris by personal shoppers. Now, the former heiress spent her days standing, pitching 300 yuan cosmetics. At closing time, she bumped into Chunzi in the employee corridor. He wore a rumpled suit, his face bruised. Wei Wei, he murmured. She walked straight past him, treating him like air. I found a job, he shouted behind her, at an insurance company. But your dad caused another scene today and almost got me fired. Please, can't you just control him? Lin Wei didn't even turn around as she walked into the subway station. The screens there were broadcasting the latest news about the Ju Corporation heir and the Luo family heiress, hinting at an upcoming marriage. The accompanying photo showed a candid shot from a banquet. Ju Yan's side profile looked sharp and mysterious. Lin Wei glanced at it, then calmly opened a shopping app on her phone and added her father's blood pressure medication to the cart. A lost love, no matter how much it hurts, can never be brought back.